Greetings. Wagwan. This is your brother Chief Kalinago, man. Hope everybody's doing good. We about to dive into a little something. All right. So happy sunrise. Happy sunrise to each and every one of you. All right. I'll give you a little bit of time to chime into this build. I'm about to make sure I have audio on Facebook. Give me 1 second, please. Doing good. We about to dive into. Yeah, we got audio on Facebook, so let us get into this, man. All right, man. That live I did earlier, I had to take a nap. I literally just got up from that nap about an hour ago, and I'm putting this little lesson together here. Okay. And as I always say, this is for educational purposes, but even more so, even more than education, it's for knowledge purposes. Okay. And those who have ears, let them hear, and eyes, let them see. I'm only here to bring you the information, only here to bring you the truth, and you do what you want with it. I cannot tell you what to do with it, but I'm giving you the path, I'm giving you the guidance. And again, do as you may with the information, right? I must say this. We as the original people of the land, the autochthonous people of the Americas, we seem to be very laid back. We are not proactive. You see what I'm saying? We rather be reactive opposed to standing up and moving forward, opposed to chilling, just chilling and allowing things to happen. When it happens, then we want to react. We have to stop being reactionary. We have to stop putting ourselves in the position where we are always on the defense. Sometimes you have to attack sometimes. And I'm not talking about violently. I'm not talking about violence. Okay. I'm talking about making moves on paper. We have to realize this is a paper game. The war is on paper. You feel me? When and if it becomes physical, then we deal with that when we get to that bridge, right? But there's a reason why they tell you that the pen is mightier than the sword, because the sword couldn't defeat us. All right. And when we lost the word, you feel me? It was flipped around, and then the sword was created, right? I'm saying all that to say, in the beginning was the word. We had the word. All right. We are the greatest orators on the planet. So we had the word. But at some point, we lost all of that. And then this war became a thing on paper, where the pen did the battles, and we lost that war. So, with that being said, right, we could talk about all this paperwork that we do, people do, individuals do. That's cool. Like I told y'all before, the individual journeys and the individual achievements is all well and good, but this is not a job. This is not a job application where you go to school and get a degree, and then your masters will allow you to go into a huge organization and get the best job. No, this is not what this is about. This is a whole lot bigger than that. So your individual achievements, yes, it will bring some success, okay, in your individual journey, but it will not change the situation of the whole. I hope that makes sense. And the only way for us to make any type of wave, the only way for us to make any type of succession is through unity, community. It is the only way. You see, we have to stop living the illusion. And I'm going to continue to talk about that, teach about that until it sinks in. Okay. We have to stop allowing ourselves to be divided. I'm not saying everybody's going to come together and sing kumbaya. No, because everybody who looks like us is not us. You feel me? But those of us who know who we are coming together, I promise you, I know they say a promise is a comfort to a fool, but I'm making a promise to you because me sometimes I guess I'm a fool because I just not feel, but I know that when we come together, not if, but when we come together, we are going to change things. You feel me? So if I'm a fool for making that promise to myself, then so be it. I'll be a fool just like you. But I'm going based on what I've seen in regards to individuals, neighborhoods, and communities. Communities are the ones that always strive. Communities are the ones that always thrive. Communities are the ones that always make wave because why? They have come together, glued themselves together, and become a unit. Okay. And that's why all of this is important. You dig? And like I told y'all before, I hear a lot of people talk, and there's nothing wrong in talking. I hear a lot of people teach, and I hear a lot of people claim their expertise, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But are we getting to the nitty gritty of things? Are we getting to the meat that's on the bone? I don't see nobody doing that. And that's why I'm doing it. I have been doing it. All right. So with that being said, we're going to read a little bit of information. Reading is fun for the mental, and let you realize and let you know this is more than just claiming that you are an American Indian. This is more than just you claiming that you're indigenous. It goes deeper than this. All the talking is a waste of it's a waste of time. Honestly, it's a waste of time if we don't have a seat at the table. It is really that simple. And as much as a lot of people get into their emotions, your emotions is not going to change anything. What's going to change things are the facts. Okay. If we don't have a seat at the table, we cannot change anything. Our lives are being governed by people who don't have our best interests at heart. And where the decisions are being made, we are not within the vicinity of those decisions being made. And therefore, it always affects our lives. You feel me? But we need to be at the table. I don't know about you, right? But I'm tired of seeing us under the table waiting for bones to be thrown on the floor so we could eat after all the meat has been eaten. No, I'm speaking figuratively, okay? I don't eat meat. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you metaphors here right now, okay? And again, I'm going to repeat this. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing my people at the bottom. What's going on here, man? It's always something that's trying to, you know, hold on for 1 second. It's like for some reason, these people, they could get into your laptops. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. All right. Um, what? Hold on for 1 second, please, man. Ah, boy, I tell you, boy, these energies out there, man. Trust me, they ain't no joke, man. People think these energies are they not a joke. Like for real, for real. There are some powerful energies out there that will, will make an attempt. Shut that down. Okay. Man, listen, all of a sudden my laptop just started bugging out. Isn't that funny? And I've been using my laptop all day, no problems, right? But anyway, they don't have any power over me anyway. It's all good. So nice try. Okay. And I do mean nice. So like I was saying, all right, before this happened, we have to realize that this is bigger than the individual, right? And it doesn't matter who talk, including myself, if we don't come together and unite and step up and put ourselves at the table where the decisions are being made, nothing is going to happen for us, nothing whatsoever. Because the people that are actually on top, that are making the decisions on top, yes, a lot of them may look like us, but a lot of them are not us. And that's what we don't realize. You feel me? They are not us. I'm giving you an example. The Black Caucus. Some of them are indigenous. Some of them are descendants of the Black nobles from Europe. Okay, and even some Africans. You feel me? But they're making decisions for original indigenous Americans. Why is that? You feel me? And then we think that things are happening to us because of the color of our skin. No, it's not. Things are happening because of our ignorance. We perish for the lack of knowledge. And I say we because I'm part of the collective. Yes, I have made a lot of individual waves, right? But this is not about me. It's not about the individual because we're not living in that age of that savior complex. No, I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I want us to come together to save ourselves. Okay? And that's what this is about. So let me go ahead and share this link, not link, but this document I'm going to read to you, and we'll take it from there. Give me 1 second. I know I have it somewhere right here. Okay, beautiful. Okay. I just want to prove to you and show you this is bigger than just doing declarations and sending declarations to different organizations. Yes, doing your individual declarations is cool. Nothing wrong with that. But it's a whole lot bigger than that. And like I said, nobody's teaching this. That's the truth. I have not seen people teaching you the things that I'm teaching you. Okay. Maybe they don't know. And it's okay. Each one teach one. But I want to show you the bigger picture. I want to show you the broad picture. I want to show you how we are going to get the results that we so seek. I want to show you how to get to the table to where we need to be so that we are able to make the decisions as the true sovereigns on this land. Okay, so let us go ahead and read, like I said, a little bit of that information. Let me go ahead and share my screen and let's get into this. All right, here we go. Let me just bring that up a little bit and let's get into this. All right, so this is from the University of Wisconsin Law School. You see, like I tell people, you have to study law. All right, you have to study law. The legal system and the lawful system are two different things. We have to get into law. And like I showed you in the video earlier with this gentleman talking about, oh, well, the Constitution is not the law of the land, it's the treaties. Again, this man has no idea what he's talking about. I know about the treaties. Okay. I know a lot of law. Now, I may not be aware of everything, but I know enough where we could literally step up and make some major moves. Okay? Because the law is there. The treaties are there. People just don't know where to find them. Okay? I have all the treaties. I have not just a couple. I have all the treaties from the 1700s. All of them. All of them. Not two, not three, over 300 and something treaties. I got all of them. Like I told y'all before, I can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. You see, we have to come together and we have to dive into these treaties. We have to assign people responsibilities to when we create our community, building as a nation, we have to designate different responsibilities. Okay. And say, okay, boom, you know what? We have 300 and something treaties here. Okay, boom. You take 3 treaties. We got 300 people, for instance, right? You take 3 treaties. That person take 3 treaties. 3 times 300 people. That's 300 treaties that we are going to literally go over in less than 7 days. And I'm using that word days very lightly, right? Because why? Now we have a unit, and then we come together and each person break down what they got from the treaty. You feel me? And something that would take one individual, like it would take me, how long is it going to take me to go through 300 and something treaties as an individual? And I could do it. I could do it. I mean, my book is 360 pages. Most of the treaties about 4 or 5 pages for the most. So I could do that. But what I'm saying is, what good and what purpose is it going to serve me as an individual to know all that information and not bring my lineage, my bloodline people to see what's going on so that we could come together as a collective? I keep telling y'all once again, ain't nobody doing it like this. Nobody. And I'm being very serious because I haven't seen it. All right. So let us read this. Legal Studies Research Paper Series, paper number 1351. And once again, this is from the Wisconsin Law School, okay? Engaging the Third Sovereign, the nature, reach, and sources of tribal law. You see, as the original people of the land, all right, like I told y'all before, we are the only one that could make organic laws. We are the only one because why? We are the autochthon of this land, meaning that the people who sprung from the land, not native, because all native means to be born. Now, before the late 1800s, 1900s, when you go back, native actually meant original, but that changed. That changed. So we cannot just call ourselves natives because it has a whole different meaning. It has a different connotation towards that word. Okay? So, and that's by Barney Sucha. This paper can be downloaded, all right, at www.ss rn.com/abstract equal 260. In fact, you see it on the screen, so I don't have to say it. All right. Engaging the third sovereign, the nature, reach, and sources of tribal law. Although not all tribal law is easily accessible, you can find what is available to the public with this handy guide from University of Wisconsin librarian. Okay, she's providing that information. Bonnie is a librarian at the UW, which is University of Wisconsin. Today, in the United States, we have three types of sovereign entities. Okay, I've always taught you all these things, but we are going to see the visual now. Okay, the federal government, the states, and Indian tribes. Remember, the government has an obligation to deal with us from a government to government basis, as per House Resolution 331 and many other declarations that were made on behalf of us, indigenous people. So there are three sovereign entities. Now, before the United States was actually created, okay, we had the Iroquois Confederacy and you had the 13 colonies. And then the United States was created. So there was another three factors or three powers, so to speak, or three sovereigns. The Iroquois Confederacy would represent all the American Indians. The Republic would represent all the so-called black nobles, people who came from abroad. Okay, that included the Moors, that included the Hebrew Israelites and the likes, and Africans to an extent. Okay, and then you have the United States would represent the pale skinned people. That was supposed to be the three governing bodies, right? But then the Republic and the United States came together and took us out of the picture, meaning that took the American Indians out of the picture. All right. And then there had to be some type of decision. Well, are we going to fight for the Republic or are we going to fight for the United States? So our ancestors were literally caught in a conundrum. So decisions had to be made. Some of them stayed neutral. All right. Because we realized that we were, how would I put it? We were betrayed by the Republic. In other words, the people that looked like us that came here, they betrayed us and they joined with the pale man. All right. In terms of the United States. And when we realized that, we had to switch sides. A lot of us switched sides and fought for the United States against the Republic, those black devils. You see, a lot of people don't know and how this thing happened and how to break it down and how to articulate it. You feel me? So the consensus was, okay, boom, let the United States be the ruling party while the Republic stays dominant. That's why when you pledge allegiance to the flag, you just don't pledge allegiance to the United States. You pledge allegiance to the Republic as well. Now, let me ask you a question. If the United States is still there, where's the Republic? Okay. And a lot of people are fighting and pushing to bring back a republic. Yes, it's better than the United States, but it still doesn't belong to us. Okay. As the original indigenous people, we are still going to find ourselves under the rulership and dominion of foreigners. That's why we have to be very mindful with what we identify ourselves as. For all you Hebrew Israelites going around thinking y'all indigenous to this land, you are not. Okay, you are not. Same thing with y'all Moors. You are not the original people of this land. I don't care what y'all talk about. Okay. So you think that you are those people? Go ahead and bring back the Republic and see if you're going to be treated any differently. You are not going to. Okay, it's another trap to go down into another rabbit hole. Okay, like I keep telling y'all, man, y'all gonna watch years from now, you're gonna fall back on these videos and be like, wow, damn, Chief was telling us the truth. Okay, but I'm giving it to you now. So let's continue to read. It says, there are three governing entities, sovereign entities, right? You have the federal government, the states, and the Indian tribes. As you could see, they made the Indian tribe the third, but literally the third is actually the first. Okay, just so you know. Now, each of the three sovereigns has its own judicial system, and each plays an important role in the administration of justice in this country. Let me ask you, my brothers and sisters, you see what it says? It says Indian tribes. It doesn't say native tribes. I have to keep reminding you that because you think natives are Indians. They are not. And I have to keep ringing that in your head because they are not Indians. In other words, they're not the people that were found here in 1492. You feel me? That's why everything had to be ratified. That's why everything had to be reconstructed. That's why everything had to be reenacted. Okay? Reenactment. What's an act? Actors act. A reenactment is a replay of something that already existed. So they're telling you in words, a reconstruction, like we did earlier in the video, a reconstruction means it's something that was already constructed, but now it's being reconstructed. You feel me? So it says here, each of the three sovereigns, it says Indian tribes, not native tribes. Okay, Indian tribes, and each of them play a significant role in the administration of this country. So let me ask you another question: where is our? How come we are not playing a part in the administration and justice of this country? It is because we were forced to assimilate. Some of us were. A lot of us did it by choice, voluntarily. But the bottom line is we don't have the power in that capacity to be at the table. Why? Because we are not united. We are individualized. Okay? So like I told y'all before, I don't care how much paperwork you do, which is cool, but it's not going to change anything for the collective, because they could make an example of one man and one woman. You see how I'm opening up your mind and showing you the significance of coming together. Get your emotions out of the way. You feel me? Get your insecurities out of the way. This is bigger than you and I. This is about our children. It's about our elders. It's about our future. And I'm just showing you the door. You feel me? But I can't force you to enter the door. Okay? You knocked and I opened and I'm giving you the information. But the rest is up to you. Okay? Here we are. Each of the three sovereigns has its own judicial system, and each plays an important role in the administration of this country. All right. Like I said before, we are sovereign people of this land. We are the highest sovereign on the land, even if they put the federal government first. The federal government is not first because the federal government is a corporation. Corporations cannot and should not have dominion over living souls, flesh, blood people. All right. It's only happening because we are not stepping up. Despite the importance of tribal law, most people have little understanding of it. This unfamiliarity can create uncertainty for attorneys involved in Indian legal issues and generate public animosity when outcomes appear to reflect unfair racial preferences. Okay, because there's no clear, concise definition or place where we could go find tribal laws. And as the tribal people of this land, we have to step up. Okay? It's imperative that we do. It may also discourage non-Indians from engaging in potentially lucrative business relationships with tribes and tribes members. This article attempts to clarify some of the confusion surrounding tribal law, which notably is distinct from federal Indian law. Okay, my brothers and sisters, knowledge is power. But here's what even more powerful than knowledge: the application of the knowledge. You could say, hey, Chief, I know how to swim. And yes, you could be a great swimmer in your mind. But until somebody pushes you into the ocean and you have to save yourself and swim, then you are not a swimmer. Okay? You're not a swimmer. Even if you know how to swim in your mind, but have you applied it in the ocean? Okay? And that's where I want to get us to the application of what we are talking about. Let's make it applicable to how it affects us, because we have to be at the table. You see, there's a saying, a quote that says, pressure bust pipe. Pressure bust pipe. You see, we're not applying enough pressure to bust the pipes. Okay, we are too laid back, and all we're doing is talking, talking, talking. Everybody's distracted. Everybody's debating. And that's how I know who's who. You feel me? That's how I know who's ready to really make real moves. Because all they're doing is debating, talking, and or every day, oh, we the indigenous, oh, we the original. I mean, come on, man. Like, enough is enough. Who are we trying to convince? No, it's time to get up. Yes, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong in teaching, because that's how we learn things, right? But there are people that are designated to do certain things. And I want to take everybody to the next level. And that is the next level. Okay? Setting up our own governments, setting up our own courts, putting the pressure, bust the pipe. You feel me? Be at the table where those decisions are being made. And it can be done, and it will be done with or without you. Okay? Let us continue here. It says, whereas federal Indian law concerns the relationship between federal, state, and tribal governments, tribal law is the law tribes develop and apply to their members and territories. This article explores the nature of tribal government, reviews tribes' complex relationships with federal and state governments, examines the reach of tribal law, and highlights available sources of tribal law. For more information, see the article and introduction, American Indian Tribes and Law in Wisconsin, at page 18 in this issue. The nature of tribal government. There are currently 566 federally recognized Indian tribes in the United States. All right, 566 federally recognized tribes in the United States. You feel me? Pay attention to that number now. Okay. In Wisconsin, there are 12 tribes, 11 of which are federally recognized. Let me see where the U.S. Constitution recognizes that. Let me see. Hold up. Let me make sure we are on the same page here. Let me see. Recognize the U.S. Constitution recognizes that Indian tribes are sovereign governments with authority to enact and enforce laws and rules and to adjudicate disputes for the welfare of the tribes, its people, and its lands. All right, I'm going to read that again. The U.S. Constitution. So for that dude that was talking about earlier, the Constitution is not the law of the land, that fool, well, I'm not going to call the brother a fool. So let me just take that back even before I say it. All right. But like I tell people, all right, be very mindful of the things that you just listen to and hear, and hold it to be Constitution, hold it to be the truth. Okay. The Constitution is the law of the land, including treaties. You did. So the U.S. Constitution recognizes that Indian tribes, remember, we are the only ones that's mentioned in the Constitution. May I remind you, Indians and not natives. Remember I showed you earlier from Pratt, the gentleman who did the speech in the 1800s. What did he say? Kill the Indian, save the man. Okay. So the Indians are not dead. In reality, physically, they're only dead on paper. And that's what Obama was brought back for, to put the nail in the coffin. Okay. And hand it over to the natives who are subjects of the United States. Let's proceed. All right. So the United States Constitution recognizes that Indian tribes are sovereign governments with the authority to enact and enforce laws and rules and to adjudicate disputes for the welfare of the tribe, its people, and its lands. Like the federal and state governments, tribes are immune from suits against them. All right. Um, although a tribe can waive its sovereignty immunity, why would a tribe want to do that? Let's read exactly what that says and let's dissect that, right? What does it say? Like the federal and state governments, the tribes are immune, just like the states and federal governments, from lawsuits against them. Okay? In other words, they are immune from lawsuits against each other because they are all sovereigns. You feel me? It says now, although a tribe can waive its sovereignty immunity, why would a tribe want to do that? Why would I want to waive my immunity? That doesn't even make sense. You feel me? Let's proceed. Tribes organize in many different ways, which determines the distribution of power and delegation of authority within the tribe. Approximately 60% of tribes have established constitutions under Indian recognition. What does it say? Reorganization Act of 1934. Let's read this again. Approximately 60% of tribes have established constitutions under Indian Reorganization Act of 1934. So let me ask you a question. Before 1934, what was the organizations that were there before it was reorganized? People are not paying attention to the words. Okay? It says many of these constitutions are patterned under what? What does it say? Anglo-American model established by the Bureau of Indian Affairs and have numerous structural similarities, often including some form of separation of powers. Okay? So when it was reorganized, okay, it assembles more and it's in relation or correlation, or it's more coherent with that of the Anglo-American model established by whom? The Bureau of Indian Affairs, the BIA. So you see who control things? That's why we don't have a seat at the table, because they are Anglo-Americans. It's right there. You see who the natives are? The Anglo-Americans. So like I told people, man, I'm not going to beg y'all to come together, man. I'm just giving you the information. All right. The righteous ones will come, because we are going to change this. I'm going to make sure it's changed, because that's what I was sent for. But I'm going to be humble and just continue to teach and give the knowledge and ask our ancestors to bring me the righteous people that's going to make this happen, because this is very serious business. And I don't want to deal with certain people and their energies, because this is just too important. This is our birthright we're talking about here. You feel me? Let us proceed. So even right here, they're telling you what native means, Anglo-Americans. Okay? But maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, Chief just talking, right? All the tribes have chosen different constitutional and governmental structures, many emphasizing more traditional tribal values. Any tribe, regardless of its structure, can also incorporate. Incorporation serves as a vehicle for carrying out the tribe's business activities and is significant because it creates a separate legal entity whose powers to contract, pledge, assert, and be sued may differ significantly from that of the tribal government itself. So yes, you could create your tribal government, you could create your ministry, but you could create a corporation to deal with the other corporations. You see, I'm teaching y'all real law. I'm teaching y'all how nations run. Okay? So the corporation that represents the nation can be sued, but not the nation, because the nation is sovereign. You cannot sue sovereign people. Okay? Y'all better recognize, man. I keep telling y'all, don't play with me. Okay? It's important that people doing business with tribes recognize these differences and engage with individuals who have the authority to act on behalf of the tribe. Tribes have had a very complex and turbulent relationship with the federal and state governments. At various times, the federal government has embraced two opposing policies: Indian assimilation and tribal autonomy. Let me break that down to you. Okay. Indian assimilation means that, the Indians that are being assimilated, in other words, that are being integrated into other cultures or other peoples or other societies. And then tribal autonomy means that the Indian tribes that are self-sufficient, okay, self-governed without outside influence. That's what it means to be autonomous. Okay. Now we are supposed to be in that position. And if we so choose, still do business with the foreign occupiers as per the declarations. Okay. But it always creates some type of turbulence because the US government or the federal government, they embrace two of the opposing policies. So when it's convenient for them, they force the Indians to assimilate. When it's convenient for them, they allow the tribes to be autonomous. Okay? For a brief description of the history of tribes' relationship to the federal government in the United States, see the accompanying sidebar. Let me see. Did we read up here? Okay, let us proceed. The reach of tribal law. The policy shifts between assimilation and autonomy have created numerous uncertainties about tribal jurisdiction. While pro-autonomy policies encouraged the development of tribal law and institutions, pro-assimilation policies fragmented the geographical integrity of reservation lands and imposed state jurisdiction on tribes. Because anytime you give up your sovereignty, anytime you give up the concept of being autonomous, then you give up your sovereignty and you expose yourself to the jurisdiction of the United States and the federal government. Okay? This resulted in an unintended hybrid. Okay? Tribes that have strong tribal courts and institutions, but that are geographically fragmented and share jurisdictions sometimes uneasily with the states. You hear what it says? Created a hybrid. So all these federal governments, these federal tribes, the 566 tribes, over 90 something percent of them are hybrid tribes. But y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about, huh? All I could do is give you the information, my brothers and sisters. Those who have eyes, let them see, and ears, let them hear. Okay? Like I told y'all before, I know what moves to make. I know how to make the moves. I know how to play this chess game. You feel me? I know exactly what moves to make, but I can't do it alone. And I'll continue to tell you that. Only Congress or the federal courts can establish state jurisdiction over Indian lands and conversely tribal jurisdiction over non-Indians. Now hear what it says. Only Congress or the federal courts can establish state jurisdiction over Indian lands. All right? Now that here alone in itself, this may be challenged because now we have to go back to the treaties and look at the treaties and see, well, who signed those treaties, okay, in terms of a consensus and on whom they were referring to. Because we have a right to go back to these treaties as the posterity, and when I mean posterity as in sons and daughters of these said Indians, we have every right to go back and look at these treaties and say, well, hey, you know what? That is not how our ancestors intended it to be. That's not what it meant. And we could challenge those things, or we could we could ratify those treaties the same way they were ratified to meet, okay, how would I put it? To meet the criteria of what Native Americans are today. All right, let us proceed. Let me see, that's under public law 83-280, Wisconsin shares concurrent criminal jurisdiction with tribes over Indians except members of the Menominee tribe for crimes committed on reservations. All right. So under public law 82-280 in Wisconsin, Wisconsin shares concurrent, meaning that it's current criminal jurisdiction with tribes over Indians. So they share that jurisdiction, so to speak, except for one tribe at that time. All right. The Menominee tribe. all right, for crimes committed on reservations. With respect to civil jurisdiction, over categorization of state law as civil, regulatory, or criminal prohibitory, even of even if a state court does have subject matter jurisdiction, it must also have personal jurisdiction. So you see, there's a difference. Now you could have the state could have subject matter jurisdiction. What that means is matter concerning, you know, just matters concerning jurisdiction or the subject matter, all right, concerning a jurisdiction, all right. But it must also have personal jurisdiction. So there's a difference. Personal jurisdiction deals with your person, individual jurisdiction. And most of the states, even federal government, cannot just impose their jurisdiction on a person who's sovereign. I'm breaking this down to y'all. Okay. So you're able to comprehend this on from a layman's perspective when it comes to dealing with law. If the defendant is a tribe or tribal entity, Indians with Wisconsin also has concurrent civil. Let me see. Now the way this thing is written, I'm trying to see where do I continue from. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Defendant is a tribe or entity from colonial times. Okay, that's something different. Okay, I'll read that in a few minutes. Federal. All right. It says defendant is a tribe or tribal entity. Indians, Wisconsin also has concurrent or civil adjudicatory jurisdiction over causes of action arising on a reservation, except like we said before, the Menominee Reservation. It does not, however, have civil regulatory jurisdiction, a distinction that has raised challenges over the. Okay, I'm getting a little bit. Pardon me. The way this thing is written, I'm getting a little bit. It's confusing in terms of trying to keep it consistent because they jump in from one to the next. All right, but anyway, what I'm going to do is I'll also put this in the description for y'all. Right. So let us read this part right here. Brief history of tribes' relationship with the federal government. From colonial times until the end of the 19th century, tribes' relationship with the federal government, with the federal and state governments, was negotiated through treaties between the sovereign nations. Okay, keyword sovereign nations, because we are a sovereign people, or we were a sovereign people. Okay, and we still are. A lot of us just don't know it. Tribes ceded, it says tribes ceded vast tracts of land to the United States in exchange for reservation lands. Now, why would we want to give our lands away for reservation lands? You see, that doesn't make sense. You have to read between the lines. Our organic, what we call aboriginal titled land was taken away, and they were given or created reservations. Okay? So our people were duped into giving up their lands for reservations. Okay? Hunting, fishing rights, and guarantee of peace and protection. Why would we give up all of what we have so that we could get rights to hunt and fish? It's like you coming into my home. No, this is my home. This is my house. And you're going to tell me, well, hey, chief, you know what? Give up your house. And then if you give up your house, I'll give you permission to go into the kitchen and eat food from the refrigerator. What in the, you see what I'm saying? We got to see past the nonsense. You feel me? Peace and protection. We know how to protect ourselves. Okay. Then it says in 1887, Congress passed the General Allotment Act, which advocated the assimilation of Indians into mainstream American life. I wonder who these American Indians were. Like I told y'all before, everything happened in the late 1800s. And in the early 1900s, 1901, 1907, that was when the Native Americans were fully established. All right. All right, then let's pay attention. Let's proceed. Under pressure from settlers, the federal government converted communally held reservation lands into smaller parcels for individual ownership. Some were offered in trust to tribal members, while the rest, nearly what does it say? Nearly two-thirds were sold to non-Indians. Two-thirds of our lands were sold to non-Indians. Okay? All right then. Thereby creating a checkerboard of ownership on reservation lands. With 1934 Indian, what does it say? Reorganization Act, federal policy shifted radically toward tribal autonomy. So after they gave that, gave up, ratified everything, reorganized everything, and make sure the natives were put in place, then in 1934, they try to go back to the tribal autonomy. In other words, allowing the tribes to be autonomous, okay? Self-governed, self-sufficient, etc., etc. The act restored some unallotted land to tribes and created a model by which many tribes created and registered their own constitutions with the federal government. Many tribal courts and other institutions were created during this period. You hear that? Many tribal courts and other institutions were created. Like I told y'all before, this Native American movement is something new. Okay, this is not old. That only happened in the 1900s. Those who have ears, let them hear, and eyes, let them see. These model constitutions often emphasize, what does it say? Anglo-American principles over traditional tribal laws, because they are not the tribal people. They are anglicized United States, aka Americans. Okay? All right, like I told y'all before, there's only one American, and you're talking to and you're listening to one of them right now. By the 1950s, federal policy swung back toward assimilation, and Congress moved to terminate the trust responsibility to the tribes. Because if you realize the 1950s was stepping into the civil rights movements, so what did they do? They forced back the people into assimilation. My brothers and sisters, you got to keep your eyes open. Because Martin Luther King, all of them, the civil rights were fighting for American Indians. Because some of the nicknames for the civil rights was the Indian. Okay? Was the Indian rights. Indian civil rights. Pay attention. Let's read. Many tribes were dissolved. You hear that? Many tribes were dissolved, including the Wisconsins, the Mini tribe, Indian tribe, because I guarantee you they were still one of the organic tribes. So they were dismembered. You feel me? They were dissolved. I wonder why. But that happened in the 1950s. With the enactment of Public Law 83-280 in 1953, Congress also imposed concurrent state criminal and civil jurisdiction over tribes in several states, including Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, only the Menominee tribe, which was later restored, is exempt from Public Law 280. So now that tribe is restored and now is exempt from the Law 280. In other words, they have gotten back their autonomy. All right. Assimilation took a drastic toll on the tribal autonomy, culture, and economic welfare, and was finally declared a failure in the late 1960s. What happened in the late 1960s? Like I told y'all before, the rise of the civil rights movement. You see how it's coming together now? All right, pay attention. In its place, policies emerged that once again favored tribal autonomy. Since then, the United States has been more supportive of tribal self-determination and self-governance. That's why I keep telling you, my brothers and sisters, the time is now. The time is now to organize, come together, and let's make these moves. All right. The United States Constitution recognizes that Indian tribes are sovereign governments with the authority to enact and enforce laws and rules to adjudicate disputes for the welfare of the tribe, its people, and lands. And this also is coherent with the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, House Resolution 331, United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People as well. All right. Indians, Wisconsin also have concurrent civil adjudicatory jurisdiction over causes of action arising on reservation, except, well, we already read that. All right. Let me see where we are at here. Go here. Boom. As a general rule, tribal jurisdiction over non-Indians is limited, although the U.S. Supreme Court has recognized two exceptions. First, a tribe can regulate the activities of non-Indians who enter consensual relationships with the tribe or its members through commercial dealings, contracts, leases, or other arrangements. Okay. Second, a tribe can also regulate the conduct of non-Indians on reservation lands when that conduct threatens or has some direct effect on the tribe's policies, integrity, economic security, or health, or otherwise. Although Congress has not legislated broadly on tribal jurisdiction, it did establish an additional exception in 2013 under the Violence Acts Against Women Reauthorization Act. Tribal courts now also have jurisdiction over non-Indians who commit acts of domestic or dating violence against Indian partners or who violate certain protection orders on tribal lands. Okay. Now, here we are. It says sources of tribal law. Unlike federal and state law, tribal law can be very difficult, not impossible to and impossible to difficult, if not impossible to locate. You see, where can we find tribal law? They make it hard to find, right? Although most federally recognized tribes do have written constitutions, codes, and judicial opinions, many have not made their law available to the public. Some would like to make their laws available, but lack the funds to do so. Because like I tell people, everything costs. People think everything is free. People who want free things don't understand that you are asking for problems. Nothing in life is free. Okay, these things cost. Okay, even when you have to be attention, you have to pay. Hence, pay attention. You feel me? Pay attention. Even when you have your sons and daughters and call them children, you still got to pay because you got to pay rent because you are a pay rent. You feel me? But y'all continue with your illusions though. I'm only here to give you the information. Other tribes have affirmatively decided to keep their laws private for various reasons, including a desire for privacy, concerned that making law available will subject the tribe to criticism, worry about compromising the sacred nature of the tribal law and culture and internal tribal politics. In addition, many tribes have incorporated tradition and custom into their laws and decision making. For tribal courts, especially, customary law plays an important role in linking justice with community values. When it is not written, customary law can be extremely difficult to discover and apply both within and outside the tribe. Tribal law that is available is scattered across numerous websites, databases, and print publications. Below is a compilation of public available sources of tribal law. Note that some of these sources might be out of date. To obtain the current law, try contacting the tribal secretary or clerk of court. Tribal law collections, American Indian law. Those are just some sources, okay? So you could see the info. It says bylaws and acts 1800s to the 1980s by subscription. www.hionline.org. All right, and Wisconsin University Law Library. So that's www.heinonlin.org. If you want to go look at some tribal American Indian law collections. All right, Indian Law Reporter, American Indian Lawyer Training Program. Okay, we need to, again, we have to come together as a collective and make sure that we have some of our people in these programs to learn Indian law. It's different from federal law. It's different from state law. My brothers and sisters, we have to organize, man. It's the only way it's going to happen. I don't care what anybody tell you. You could do. I don't care how many declarations you do. I don't care how many status corrections you do. It doesn't mean a damn thing if you're by yourself. Period. Okay. We have Indian tribal codes, Marian Gold, Galatha Law Library, select tribal constitution codes and charters from 1940s to 1988 on microfiche. All right, so we could send people, designate people to go to the University of Wisconsin to look up those things and study those things. We have the Indigenous Law Portal, Library of Congress, select tribal constitution bylaws, codes, charters, 1800s to present. All right, then you could go to the website and check that information. You have Capitalist Indian affairs, laws and treaties, etc., etc. All that information is there for us. You feel me? Sources of tribal law, we already read that. All right, so there you go. Okay, then you have solutions. All that is just different information to look into tribal law. My brothers and sisters, like I told y'all before, I have over 300 and something pages of all the treaties, especially the ones in the 1700s that were signed with the United States. Okay, that was signed with the United States. I have all of that. And this is why it's important to come together so we could designate responsibilities. Okay, designate responsibilities. Love. So now I'm back in the chat going to questions. All right. Wagwan Heru couple colored God. Lovely, what's going on? One love. You ask. What you ask? Don't you believe we need our own table, Chief? Well, I don't believe. I don't do belief systems, but I assume what you mean. Yes, we need our own table, absolutely. But remember, even if we have our own table, we still have to bring other people to the table. But we need to be the ones that's at the head of the table. Okay? So to answer your question, yes. Okay? Yes. Even if we have our own table, there must be others at the table. People think that every other ethnic group that's in the United States or in the Americas is just going to get up and leave. Y'all got to be fools to think that. People ain't going nowhere. What you have to realize is that these people that came from Europe, these people came here as servants. These people came here as slaves, whether it was Europe, Asia, or Africa, and they came into the Americas, the original Garden of Eden, to live life in abundance. You think they're going to live? Nobody's going to make them live. However, we have to be at the head of the table to bring back balance into our lands. Okay? So to answer your question, lovely, yes, we need our own table. All right? And then we are able to negotiate, okay, or sign new treaties or amend treaties or ratify treaties that is not working towards our benefit right now. And we have every right to come together and do that. Okay. Start Christ says, hey, book arriving soon. No doubt. Y'all order the book. I appreciate that. Thank you for plugging in. Appreciate that. All right. We have Dolly Coy. All right. Wingapu Osio. Halito to you as well. Brother Heru said, we wouldn't live on a reservation. It says we wouldn't live on a reservation, correct? As our lands are not state-based, but more linguistic areas. No. In other words, we live where we are at, but recognized as Indians who get together when we need. Well, here's the thing, right? All lands in the Americas is Indian land, Indian territories, but they have what we call fractionized certain land allotments, so to speak, and make them reservations as to, meaning that as per the federal government that have jurisdiction over these tribes. Okay, so in essence, the people that's in the hood, that's actually a reservation, but it's not recognized as a reservation because the Indians that live in the hoods, in the neighborhoods, they call themselves Black and African American and niggers and all type of stuff, and they don't call themselves Indians. But the hoods and the project, they are reservations because that's where the real Indians were forced to assimilate into those cities. Okay, remember we read about assimilation. You feel me? So literally the projects and the hood, okay, those are Indian reservations, but they're just not recognized Indian reservations. And that's why they don't get the benefits that these so-called natives get. You feel me? So I hope, Brother Heru, I hope that makes sense. Okay. Technically, in the hood, the projects, those are reservations as well, but they are not recognized reservations. The same way that we are American Indians, but they don't recognize us because we are not part of the BIA structure in, Bureau of Indian Affairs. Okay. All right. So I hope that makes sense. And it's, yes, it's the BS. All right. All right. Now, Stat says, Finn reclaiming all the land by pointing geopolitical maps. Gold would work better if y'all helped. Well, definitely coming together, I've been saying, coming together is the key. All right, it's the key, and we have to realize that at some point, man. Listen, we got to learn to trust each other, man. I'm just keeping it 100. Not everybody that come to the table is going to be righteous, but we have to learn how to weed those people out. We have to make what we have so ironclad that even if some negative energy come in, they cannot dismantle what we build. And that's why I am building an ironclad nation. You feel me? Because it takes time. People are always in a rush to see things happen overnight. You have no idea how this thing happened. Okay, but y'all hear one or two videos on the internet and y'all just think, well, let me get up and correct this status and let me go ahead and do this and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, oh well, I'm a sovereign man, I'm a sovereign woman. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Yes, that you may have some successes, on a what we call on a minute scale. But when it deals with the overall, what we call the macro cosmic scale, trust me, you haven't put a dent in anything. Even me, with all the successes that I've had, it's just me by myself doing it. Like I said before, right now, I could travel on planes domestically with my nation ID. Because why? In 2017, I put in the work. You feel me? I put in the work. Okay. Our nation in Tennessee, we have our own plates. You feel me? We have our own embassy because we have put in the work. People got arrested. People went to jail to make sure we got that because we did not give up. We stood for what we know was right, not what we believe, but we know that was our inherent right. And we don't have any problems in Memphis, Tennessee right now. Okay. Let me see. It says no need to register anything with this beast. Well, it's not a matter of registration, right? We're not registering things per se, but putting on notice is not registration. So we have to put on notice because that's making a declaration, right? So when you register anything, again, you are surrendering ownership, right? So I totally agree with you. Okay. We should not register certain things. But when it comes to commerce, all right, outside of the personal jurisdiction, our corporations could deal with their corporations. And that's the way it was supposed to be. Okay. That's how nation governments work. That's how nation states work. Okay. That's how it works. So once again, is knowing the information. You feel me? Knowing the information. But I do agree with you, Brother Heru. We don't need to register our personal assets with this corporation. We no, we're not supposed to do that, and we're not doing that. Okay. Sister Rosa Campbell said hello. Well, we're not gonna do the hello. We ain't sending nobody to hell, so we're gonna say hi. We're gonna say hi. We're gonna say hi vibes. We're gonna say greetings. All right. It says that federal opinion we would say over here, feds, right? Brother Heru said so. They want. Brother Heru said so. They want to have authority over foreigners, but we have authority over them and foreigners. They really don't get this. It's our ancestral land, so they don't have the same authority as us. Well, Brother Heru, they know this. They know this. It's not like as if they don't know. They know. It's just that the real Indians are not stepping up as a collective. You feel me? That's the problem. I mean, our birthright is waiting there for us to step up and take our rightful place. But we are too busy, like I said, fighting each other. We are too busy, putting down each other. We are too busy distracted. You feel me? That's the problem. All right. Now it says, who made these tribal laws is the question. We might have to start our own. Well, here's the thing. We do have organic tribal laws, Brother Heru. And we don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Okay. There are tribal laws that's in place that's going to work towards our benefit. That's going to keep us autonomous. All right. We just have to go back to the treaties and read these treaties and see where it applies. And if it doesn't apply, then we step up as a collective and say, well, hey, this needs to be ratified. Okay? Because remember, these treaties were written and they were supposed to be interpreted based on how our ancestors saw them to be, not as what the colonizers made them to be. Okay? So we don't have to reinvent the entire wheel, if at all. We just need to adjust certain things where applicable. All right. So we don't always have to be in warrior mode. You feel me? Sometimes the greatest outcomes comes from us just being humble. And when I'm talking about humble, I'm talking about without the aggression. When it's time for aggression and aggression is needed, then we give aggression. You feel me? But the war on paper, let the aggression display itself on paper, because it's a paper war that we are fighting. It's not a physical war. You feel me? It's not a physical war. You see, there's a difference, and please do not take this the wrong way, my brothers and sisters. There's a difference in abusing and killing Black people opposed to American Indians, even if they are the same. You see what I'm saying? Now, I please do not take my words and misconstrue my words. You feel me? Because I know a lot of y'all Negroes, y'all are very dirty minded. So I have to keep saying that. So don't take just one piece of this video and say, well, this is what Chief said. That's not what I said. You see, because a lot of you don't comprehend law. You feel me? So even if the so-called Black people are the American Indians, because they call themselves Black, that means they don't have that autonomous. They don't have that autonomy, pardon me. Okay, they're not sovereigns. So therefore, destroying Black people, okay, it may not be moral, and it's not, but within law, they are already dead people walking. You feel me? So when they kill Black people to the world is desensitized by what happened to so-called Black people, because they know that Black is dead in law. You feel me? Because they have painted an image of what Black means and who Black is. You feel me? But can you imagine the United States is known for killing and destroying people that know they're American Indians, and the world know they're American Indians? Trust me, it's a whole different situation. It's a whole different situation. That's why I tell people I don't have the problem that Black people have, because I'm not a Black man. Okay? Hopefully that comes across. And you have some ignorant fools that will ask the question, well, when the police pull you over, the police don't know you're Indian. They see Black. No, they don't see Black. They see you as Black because that's what you tell them you are. Whenever any police officer stop me, I always make it clear that I'm not Black, I'm not African American, I'm an indigenous American Indian. Always. So by you assuming that, and the way I'm dressed anyway, they always know. So the experiences that you have as a Black man, as a Black woman, I don't have it as an American Indian. Period. And that's why I said I've had successes over 99% of the times. Okay? Certain times, that 1%, if I don't want to deal with it, I don't deal with it. All right? Knowledge is the key, my brothers and sisters. All right? All right, so here we are. Okay? So I just wanted to come in and, like I said, drop this information with y'all. All right. And like I said, I have all the treaties, okay, over 300 and something pages of treaties. The treaties that people can't find, guess what? Chief Kalinago got them. But like I told y'all before, I can't do this alone. I refuse to do this alone. it wasn't meant for me to do it alone because I'm not here on my behalf. Okay. I was sent here, like I said, for a reason. I was sent here for a purpose. And many of you will not see it now. It's okay. It's all right. But trust, the purpose, the manifestation of my purpose will be seen and known for many centuries to come. Okay? Many centuries to come. And your children will go back and look at these videos and be like, damn, well, grandpa, grandma, Chief was telling y'all that in 2023. How come y'all never came together with him? And then you have to give all your reasons why. When by that time, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren would have already been in place. You feel me? So like I said, we have work to do. You did. And it's really that simple in terms of the easiest part should be coming together. That should not be the hardest part. You feel me? It's coming together. Because whether we know what we are doing or not, when we come together as a collective, the power and energy that we have will shift things. And that's why I mentioned pressure, boss, pipe. Okay? Pressure, boss, pipe. We have to come together as a collective. We may not be aware of everything, my brothers and sisters. Don't get me wrong. By no means I'm here to tell you that, hey, you know what? I'm the most knowledgeable. By no means I'm here to tell you, hey, you know what? I am aware of everything. I've already said this. I know everything, but I'm not aware of everything. The truth is we know everything. We're just not aware of everything, meaning that it hasn't been brought forth into the frontal conscious lobe. You feel me? But the knowing is within us. And it's each one teach one. But we can't just be out here spewing information like the video I showed y'all earlier of this gentleman. And then this video have almost 15,000 views of people listening to that nonsense and thinking it's the truth. You feel me? And then when you break it down and you show people the truth, now they look at you like, oh, well, you know, you hating. No, I'm not hating. I just like to bring the facts. And what he said was not facts. It wasn't facts. That was geared towards African descendants. Okay, African descendants. We are not Africans. This ain't got nothing to do with us. We were not these people's slaves. In fact, our ancestors were slaveholders, not these Native Americans. Don't get it twisted. Okay? Don't get it twisted, man. I know the truth is stranger than fiction, my brothers and sisters. I know. I know. That is because a mental game has been played on us. It's a mental game. All right. So I hope you found some value in this video. Do me a favor, share the information. Once again, I am here reaching out, a call to action. It is time for us to organize, come together. And like I told y'all before, I got all the treaties. Okay, all the treaties, I've been going through them, you know, but we have to come together as a collective so we could designate responsibilities. Hey, you know what? Hey, brother, here's 3 treaties. Take your time, break it down. Hey, sis, here's 3 treaties. Take your time, study it, break it down. We come together as a collective and we discuss all the treaties and we see what is applicable, what is not. And then we step up as a group of people, as a community, as one nation. All right. And that's how we are going to start getting things done. And I agree with you, Sister Lovely. Yes, we need our own table. Absolutely. Because it's the only way we will be able to make sure that what is at our table is conducive for us to eat. You feel me? When you go to somebody else's table, you are their guest. And then you either have to eat what they provide or be rude and not eat their food. Okay? So to avoid being rude or in dishonor, we have to create our own table. And now we could invite people to our table because the bottom line is, whether they like it or not, we are the ultimate true sovereigns on this land. So they have to cede towards our constitutions, our laws. You feel me? But once again, imagine one woman or one man trying to do that. You're going to lose your life. You're going to lose your life. And I tell people I refuse to be a martyr for anybody. Okay? I'll only make moves together as a collective. I'm not going to make those type of moves and be stupid enough to do it by myself. I still have a purpose to fulfill. Okay? So if I have to go and find a way to teach that to the children and leave y'all grown-ass people alone, I'll do it. You feel me? Because sometimes a lot of y'all are just too gone. I'm just keeping it out. I'm just keeping it a buck. Sometimes a lot of you are just too gone. So I have to try to penetrate the children and give them that information. Okay? Impregnate their mind with this information so they could make the changes. Because a lot of y'all grown-ups are just too gone. Too many egos. You feel me? You have been hurt too much. You are too damaged. So you can't see past anything else. You feel me? Which brings me to the next thing I'm going to say. Our people need healing. A lot of our people haven't taken the time to heal themselves. Okay? So they're still dealing with internal trauma. Okay? But we're going to continue to move forward. We're going to continue to build. Don't forget to check the link below to go ahead and get the book. Gin and Sis 2 Reevaluation. It's now available on Amazon. Get your copy. Get a copy for your teenage children. Read it to your children. That's how we're going to set this foundation, man. Okay? And that's a beautiful thing, Sister Rosa. Okay? That's how we're going to set this foundation. Learn the information. Find the truth, because the truth is available. The truth is within you. You just need a spark to activate that truth in you. And I promise you that's in the book. All right. So go to Amazon and definitely get your copy. You feel me? And for those of you who are, like I said before, who are ready to organize, reach out to me. All right. And let's make this thing happen. All right. Let's make this thing happen as a collective. It's our time. It's there for us. The time is ripe. Ripe as in R-I-P-E. The time is ripe to restore our birthright. Okay? It is ours. It's time for us to be autonomous once more. It's time for us to be sovereign once more in our land. Okay? You dig? All right. Y'all have an amazing 24. Happy sunrise to each and every one of you. And I'm certainly sure we'll talk soon. I appreciate love y'all, man. All right? Be good. Talk to y'all. Take care.